Hello everyone. If you recall, I was having some problems with the clear coat. This is what the car looks like after a week or 2 weeks. In direct sun you can really see the streaks. But I don't know, well, I mean it can look pretty bad at times, but I don't know, we've learned to live with it, and we still think, you know, in comparison, she probably looks better than she did. But, of course, I do not want to get those results again. My mom and I were kind of looking around on the internet, and we discovered some things. Everybody hates this clear coat. Everybody says the same thing. Even the pros claim that it's just kind of bad about streaking and dripping and all that sort of thing. So the clear coat is just a bad problem. Unfortunately, they don't seem to offer it in roll-on. Some people claim that you can take some type of, I don't know, one of these varnishes or something, and if you apply it to the paint soon after you've painted it, that it'll somehow adhere to it and keep it. Now, I haven't tried this. My mom and I had been thinking about doing that, but in the end we just decided we're going to stick with the clear coat despite all the problems. Now, for me, I'm going to do it, this time I'm not going to sand it, because I think it was the sanding that actually caused to some degree the striping. And the 1000 grit sandpaper, the problem with it is that it's, I guess it's just a very fine sandpaper, but the problem is like you're sanding, let's say like with me, I was sanding the clear coat. Well, bits of it kind of came off and adhered to the sandpaper, and then those little sharp bits caused the scratching in like here. So 1000 grit sandpaper I found was a bit of a problem. And maybe that's why you can't find it in the stores. I was wondering, you know, if this is a common thing they use on automobiles, why can't you find it? Well, that might be the explanation. Next thing I learned about was the Megulars Ultimate Compound. Now, I don't know if my problem had anything to do with Megulars, but we did look online, and you get two types of people when it comes to Megulars. There's the people that love it, and then there's the people that complained that actually that it seemed to do the same thing, that they kind of got the same results. So I don't know. I mean, maybe Megulars did bring up the streaking a bit more. I'm not sure about that though, so don't quote me. But this is what we did learn about Megulars. Megulars is made in England. It was originally designed for metal cars, which they tend to have in other countries. In America, I mean, I'm assuming we do have some metal in our car, you know, when they make our cars, but I'm not sure if a lot of our cars don't have a, you know, don't have a lot of plastic in them. So, the people that often complain about the Megulars, you know, the people that love it, they often tend to have foreign cars. And the people that have complained about it, they often have American cars. And I'm not sure if American cars don't have some plastic or some sort of weird hybrid, or, you know, I don't think American cars are totally metal anymore. I mean, I've noticed a big difference. I mean, any of you that have ever driven one of those old cars, you know, something that's been made from like the 1950s, those things were tanks, you know, and, you know, as time goes on, our cars are more like Tonka toys. So, and then on top of that, American car dealers are now using acrylic paints to paint cars, which might explain they have nicer colors sometimes. There seems to be more of a variety of colors. But that might explain why our cars seem to be peeling so badly now these days, is because I don't know if acrylic paints are really up to the type of hardship that the outside gives them, you know, because I mean, you know, like with me, you know, like our trees are kind of acidic, and they'll, you know, if their berries land on the car, it starts eating the paint. Our rain kind of seems to erode the paint. Our roads with the dust and all that seems to erode the paint. So, you know, the paint tends to be a bit of a problem. Anyway, Megulars did make a particular Megulars for, especially for American cars, as far as, and it's supposed to be used on, with cars that have acrylic paint. Now, the problem is that I used an oil-based paint on Selena. And another thing is, I'm not sure about Megulars. The people that tend to have good results, I also notice they tend to have a car that's a little bit more even, you know. It wasn't like how it was with Selena, where when we got down, she had a lot of damage and rust, and, you know, Selena, we found out by doing this, is a rebuilt car, apparently. So there's a lot of extremes with Selena, you know, there's parts that are good, but then there's some parts that were very bad, and I'm not sure if you put Megulars on a car like Selena, you're not going to have problems. When you notice the demonstrations, they almost always show it on a new car, you know, a car that's a lot more even. And a lot of the times, the people that seem to be having the problems are the people that said, I had a little bit of patches of oxidation on an otherwise good paint job. And then they are the ones that tend to have the streaking. So, I think the thing about Megulars, I'm sure Megulars is a fine product, but I think you have to be careful on what you put it on, because I think it's probably best on metal cars, it's best on acrylic paint, if you're, you know, the American version anyway. And it's probably best on cars that are not extremes, you know. Either it has to be a total junker with everything that, you know, or maybe it has to be totally new, but you can't have a car that might have two extremes, because I think that might be where the problem is. Because that's what I've noticed about the people that have complained about their cars. The cars have bad and good parts on them. So anyway, I'm not probably going to be able to finish the car in April as I originally hoped. The weather's starting to get bad, and unfortunately it's getting hot. They do tell you should put the clear coat on in the shade, but unfortunately I don't. All my trees are over there, and there's problems with putting the car over there. For one thing, the trees would eat the paint, and also we would ruin Selena's tires by going over there, and that's not really an option. So I'm going to try my best with the clear coat. I'm going to start doing smaller surfaces. I'm not going to do the large parts of the car. I'm not going to sand the clear coat, and I'm going to see if that, and I'm probably not going to put Megulars on. I'm going to compare it. So today what I'm planning on doing is to do this door, and that's all I'm doing, and I'm going to see how that turns out. Well, the light's not exactly on my side at the moment, but I think this turned out a lot better. Okay, this stuff, guys may not know how to say it, you know, may not know what I'm talking about, possibly. If anybody's used clear nail polish, it is exactly like spraying clear nail polish on the car. I wouldn't be surprised. It smells like clear nail polish. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually is clear nail polish. But that's what it's like. That's what its consistency is. It's also very stinky. It's very important. You know, they always tell you to be in a ventilated area when you paint. Well, with this stuff, it's really important because it's very stinky. You can get really high on the fumes if you're not careful. Some people might enjoy that. I personally don't, but anyway, advice for the clear coat. Now, there is going to be drips probably occasionally. This didn't actually do too badly. The best thing to do is to do in small areas. For one thing, I found that the cap, I don't know what it is about spraying this stuff, but I found my hand gets tired a lot quicker. I didn't sand, which I think is probably what was a great improvement. And I'm not going to put on the Megulars because I'm not sure the Megulars doesn't bring up the flaws. So anyway, one advice I can give you as far as the clear coat, it was the same actually with the spray painting. Put paper on the sides of where you're going to paint, and then start spraying on the paper, and then start your line and end on the paper, and that should reduce the spray paint swirls that you get with that tends to come with the beginning. And unfortunately, I got some of that insect spooge on my car. But the large trash pickup's coming, so I'm gonna have to shorten this. But I think this is gonna turn out a lot better. The only thing I'm a little worried about is that last time I went to Home Depot, they didn't have my clear coat, and I don't know if I have enough to finish the car, so I'm hoping they'll get more. But anyway, I'm glad this turned out a little better, and this was going to be a hard door because, remember, this is the side where she had her big bang. So, anyway, so I'm glad this turned out a lot better. It was really traumatizing what happened with the back.